Hey everyone, today is the Daily Color episode 180. This is Tracy with Color Me This. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are returning. Today we continue on to do this fall leaf circle with the Irojiten. I have picked 5 colors and have 2 bonus colors. Before I get to coloring, I just have one interesting observation. I don't think it really means anything, but it's just kind of interesting. So I have 2 pencils that have not been sharpened, and then I have the orange one, which I have sharpened, and look how fuzzy the new pencils come. I think that is very strange that their factory sharpening system leaves the pencils that furry looking. This is what my Jarlink electric sharpener does. So that is all I have to share. I did finish the image that you can see partially to the right is the there was one fish, so I turned it into an ocean scene, though I'm not really sure that it's necessarily an ocean scene. So I just kept playing and adding layers, and that is what it came out to be. I could still do a little bit more. I liked how this color blend was a very light to parrot green. I think the light green, it's not neon. And I liked the coral. I changed from one pink to a peach. What is my lightest green? It might have been F10, which is a fluorescent. Vigorous green. So vigorous green to parrot green to forest green. It was a very nice blend. And here is just another light green. I believe that is the one to the right here, that's chartreuse. And the one to the left here is just a light, it's probably the neon green actually. Neon green, and then the brighter one is the vigorous green. Both being considered as fluorescent. And I'm hiding these 2 up above for our review day, which will now be tomorrow. So let's look at I've got my spine and it's just forever bothering me. Today I have on the left side, I grabbed a clip. I've already used these clips a couple of times, this kind of office clip. And it's a little bit on the big side, but it also pinches so hard it dents the paper. But for now, it is all I've got. So let's go over the very minimal palette. I have 2 greens just to keep things somewhat interesting, and then 3 fall colors. These are very tiny leaves, so this is just really an exercise. I keep calling it my very strategically placing colors to make it appear random. So not randomly random is what I'm going for. So here's the 3 fallish colors. The yellow is Dandelion V3, V for Vibrant. Autumn Leaf D3, I think D is for like dull tone, but I think of it as dark. And then Tangerine Orange V2. So I will be holding all 5 pencils in my right hand. And then the 2 greens to play with today are D16 Moss Green and D6 Elm Green. So when I do fall leaves, oh, and this one needs to be sharpened. It's not as furry as the other 2, but it's a little bit furry, and I haven't sharpened it, so let's see. Once I sharpen it, it looks just like that. All right, so for me, with this quest of creating a bunch of fall leaves, I use the strategy that the youngest part of the leaf, which is the part of the leaf closest to the stem, is the youngest, and the outer edge is the oldest part of the leaf. So I just run around here and I randomly add a bunch of the lighter color, and then I have the darker color. And they don't have to, all of them have this. Again, it's strategically random is what we're after. Okay, so I swapped. That was the elm green. This is the moss green. They look so close. I'm going to purposefully you can tell I did not pre-do this. These two are close enough that I would almost abandon one of them. I have two backup greens. This is cactus green, it's D17, and so it is a little bit more true green. So that is a second nice green color. And then I did grab a third green, and it was one that I showed the fur. And it is mustard. It's kind of really a yellow, yellowy green. So there it is. So now that I've done a bunch of green near the stem, I am just grabbing this mustard. I have like a bright yellow, and then this mustard yellow, which is a nice fall tone. It is my goal to actually complete this whole circle today. That will keep me moving at a good clip. And right now I am not necessarily worrying about filling in tooth. I'm just like blocking in color. But I am not using light pressure, if you are curious. I am using small ovals with medium pressure. I'm grabbing now the orange. Tangerine Orange V2 for vibrant. And you can even pick on some of these larger leaves 2 spots that have whatever color it is you're adding. You can change the shape of that color. You can add, on this big one, you can add like multiple spots. Doing this page reminds me of my favorite place to go for fall colors. Back when we lived in Washington State, every fall in October, I had a horse show in Wenatchee. That I think that I've been kind of getting the Facebook updates for this particular club, and they don't have shows on the Puget Sound side of the water anymore, it seems. So they still have the Wenatchee show, and we would go. That's me and my horse. And we showed every spring and every fall. And quite often we got to drive in snow going over Stevens Pass. I remember one time following a snowplow home. Crazy things that I did when I was younger. Beautiful bright fall colors on what's called Highway 2. So again, this is just an exercise in picking 5 colors, and then I picked 2 extra greens. If I get bored with the one, I can have a couple more green tones, although one of them was a mustard. I switched on you, by the way, to the brown I picked is called Autumn Leaf D3. Had to pick it. There are some very unique names in this set that I really like. So one of the strengths of the Irojiten is they are one of the sets. They aren't cheap or inexpensive by any means. They are if you buy them by the set, but to buy them as singles on Blick is $2.46. So if you like a hard pencil and you want to do details, this would be a good set to consider. And you can buy the 90 as a set for $68 off of Amazon. Also, when you're coloring these fall colors, you don't have to make yourself fill in every bit of the leaf. You can leave little bits of highlights if you would like. Now this already had this dark green, and this I am taking the light green. Oh, is this mustard? Oh, this is mustard. This mustard is very close to olive. Sometimes you can do a burgundy. I opted to stick with this brown instead of going with a burgundy. But when I'm making cards and I'm doing autumn leaves stamped, I will use a burgundy or maroon marker, a dye ink marker. So we should all be looking very filled in here. I am seeing a need for a bunch more green. We are leaving on the 29th to head back to Washington State for a couple weeks to deal with packing our stuff and helping my mom pack her stuff if they are ready. And the shuttle over there, this is the SeaTac airport driving through Seattle or Bellevue, one way or the other. Grabbing green again. I'm going to get this cactus green D17 going to darken up a lot of these. So we get to drive into what's called Marysville to the Tulalip Indian Reservation using the shuttle. And I finally got a hold of, there's a couple of people here in the community that shuttle. They have little side gig businesses. And I got a hold of one of them, and it is the same price. I think that's so funny. I'm 3,000 miles away from Washington State, and it costs the same to have a round trip shuttle from when we land in Seattle to that Indian reservation, which is still, I think, 20 miles away from my mom. She's at pretty far out on, I think it's 528. I have to remember which highway it is. It's where the Oso landslide my mom is right before that. So it's quite a ways from the freeway. And it is the same amount to go here from Titusville to the Orlando airport. But far quicker. It's 45 minutes from Titusville to the airport. And with all of the stops that the shuttle has to make versus a private shuttle where it's just me and Hub, it's the same amount. So I thought that was very interesting. We toyed with the notion of parking like we used to do. When I was working, I would take my car. I guess it's kind of a mix. I can remember taking my car, and I can also remember and using an off-site parking for so many dollars a day, $6 a day, and other times taking the shuttle. And it ends up a wash either way. It's just depending on whether you want to drive through Seattle traffic yourself to get to the airport. I was thinking if I didn't get a hold of this person in the community that I would use an Uber, which we've never done before. But I will not have to do that. It was a little bit cheaper to use an Uber, but the vehicle, they only had one kind of vehicle offered, and that was an economy vehicle. And I'm just guessing that this business is probably a van of some variety. Oh, I'm making some good progress. I'm trying to darken up with this cactus green and getting some really pretty greens. Now, I could grab yellow, which is daffodil. I think I've done mostly mustard, so this will also brighten. I can also use this to burnish certain areas. I purposely left the tip of this little leaf empty. Now this is interesting. I'm going to put this at the back end, but normally I would have put the green back there, but I don't want every leaf to always have green at the stem. Have to kind of shake things up. So I hope you're seeing some pretty fall leaves. Most of these all have a colored background, so I may leave this one without a background. Just for something different. So I have done 4 circles and I explored a variety of different techniques. I used the pastel tints, which I will share with you what I did. That was the first circle, and then the metallics. And now 2 Irojiten, and I think I already mentioned that the funny thing is the very first set that we get to do starting next week, which will be these 2 flowers, tulips and fluffy flowers. And the set that is first is the Artex, which I'm already using in the big. So that'll be fun. I didn't even think about taking it out of the rotation. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I am refocusing. Now, I feel like, look at, there's one. Isn't that funny? That one lonely one has no color. I'll have to fix that. There, now it's got some color. I feel that these pencils blend nicely. They are not a buttery, oily feeling or waxy. They kind of feel dry. Not as dry as the other pencils. Like right now I'm doing the Pablo finishing touches for my detailed walkthrough. Those are a very dry pencil. I think they're wax based. Very dry, easily blended. And these are not dry, but not buttery either. They're a very clean feeling and clean looking pencil. Very easy to use on this paper. They even work pretty well on my copy paper mock-up. And I think I already mentioned, I think they're $2.40 something. So Prismacolors are cheaper. I have not really heard of any issues with quality. I'm going to go back to the orange, Tangerine Orange V2. I think the Prismacolors are like $1.30 a piece. But I haven't heard any complaints about quality issues or manufacturing issues with these. I have heard of people saying they don't think that these pencils are very pigmented, but so far I have not had that experience with these. I think that they are nicely pigmented, and I really like their dark greens are not grainy. They are nice and smooth, and their fluorescents are very soft and smooth and are pigmented. It's not like the sets that have a few neons thrown in as maybe an afterthought, but they're very weak in how they color. These are nice, true neons. Vibrant and creamy. How are we doing? Oh my gosh, we're only 24 minutes. Can you believe that? That means I get to spend more time. Maybe I will do a background. Let's grab the brown. Autumn. Alright, I haven't done a lot with the grays. I'm thinking I might pick a light source area and do some shadow. That seems to be a fun thing. You can never have too much practice with your shadowing for that 3D look. one last mustard. There's that mustard color, sort of an olive yellow, olivey green yellow. And see how they all are just kind of blending together without any effort at all. All right, I'm going to grab these away. Oops. Let's grab, I think for a gray, we only have a few. I could even use the sepia, because the taupe would be the darkest and I don't really want to use black. So let's grab sepia, this color. And then the one right next to it, taupe. So if that's one thing, this is a 100 set. If they were to make more, grays would be an area I think that we could have more. So we've got sepia as a brown and taupe is their dark gray. I'm going to start with the taupe. It's fairly sharp, but I'm going to sharpen one more. I'm going to say that the sun is up here in the middle, and we will start adding some shadows. On the opposite side. It's nice to practice these different techniques with nice, small, simple images. I am using medium pressure, I would say. Hopefully you are all seeing the shadows. I'm actually liking this gray. It's called taupe. I might be getting this all the way finished. How are we doing? Yep, I have time. This right here is why I enjoy this book. It has enough small images to be able to relax and actually finish something, work on something with you guys from start to finish. I don't like having to go away all the time finishing sections up, and so I'm glad for this book. So I am still just adding my highlights on the left side. Some of these leaves here that are horizontal or even diagonal, I have to just kind of do the shadow on the very end there. So the bottom two, the fluffy flowers versus the tulips, I am tempted to use Artex for both. And then we're moving on to a new page. I have not looked at the new page. I think it's bottles, because I haven't looked at it since last week. So I am going to have fun playing with glass. I had done glass on the shelves page and did a little bit of research. So I have some fun techniques in mind. Gosh, look at that. I'm almost done. Yeah, look at that. Alrighty. I could go in even with a blender pencil, possibly, or even a neutral lightish color like a very pale yellow would probably be fine and would not alter these colors. It would just blend them together a little bit more. I don't know what my favorite leaf is. I like that leaf a lot. I like this one. I pretty much like ones that have all 5 colors represented and that don't look choppy. So I think we are going to go ahead and let this finish a little bit early. It's very seldom that that is the case, so this is pretty exciting. That way I can get on with the rest of my Saturday and you can get on with whatever day you are watching this on. Oh, there's one. So play with your fall colors and then always play with your shadows with these small images to get comfortable with having your light source. Pick different light source locations. If you want to practice on this one, you could go ahead and put it in quarters, and each quadrant have the light source be in a different direction, and then see how it looks when it's done, and you can see how you did with your light source. Because I really think of these little tiny images like this as great practice. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And tomorrow we will meet right back here for our weekly color review. See you then.